Good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to the August 25, 2023 meeting of the Rotary Club of Beavercreek. I want to thank Jerry Pfeiffer and Charles Curran for greeting us today, Eric Marcus and Beth Handworker for setting things up and doing the ticket master and secretary duties. Want to thank Pete Bales, Mark Weinstein, and Mike Swick for the great programs, and Jim Gundel for website. And I would invite Debbie Jarvie to come up and provide an invocation.
Well, good afternoon. Would you please join me in prayer? Oh, Holy Creator, we come to you in many names. But today, we want to thank you for the opportunity to serve you through our fellowship and our projects that come to us through Rotary. We thank you for this marvelous food that you set before us and for our fellowship and our friendship. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Eddie. All right. Eric, do you have a secretary's report?
I can do a secretary's report. I think we have 24 members and a total of 5 guests. So I'm going to have, let's see, who has a guest?
Ed Phillips has a guest. Ed, you have a guest.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
My son Larry.
And I think Sandy has a guest, but Sandy's not here. So I'm going to introduce Melissa Quinn, who is coming here because she thinks she wants to become a member of Beavercreek Rotary. So
She is associated with Sochi.
okay. And then we have our speaker has 2 guests. Can we introduce them?
We'll introduce them. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Ravi Khanda, and this is Jalpa Ben Patel. Both of us are board members at the Hindu community of, Hindu temple. And this is Dr. Siva Vemana, and he's very knowledgeable about the Hindu philosophy. He's here for answering any questions.
I think I have incorrectly identified as the Hindu Temple of Beavercreek, but you're really updating, right?
Either way is fine.
Well, let's go with Beavercreek then. All right, Sergeant at Arms, Don Adams. Come on up to the. That really is the equivalent of a standing ovation for our sergeant.
Good afternoon. First, before I get started, Eric and I were out at a ribbon cutting this morning for Nolan Reserve out off of Hilltop Road, one of those roads.
Oh,
Fairgrounds. It was so hot out there, I can't remember where I was. But if you get an opportunity, go out there and try that out. It's an amazing place. They've really done a really good job putting the boardwalks in. And if you only want to walk a little bit, there's like a half-mile course, and there's a 2.5-mile course. So get an opportunity to go out and do that. Today is August 25th, the 237th day of the year. We got 128 days to go. Today we celebrate Daffodil Day, Forgive Your Foe Day, Founders Day for the National Park Service, Kiss and Make Up Day, National Banana Split Day, and obviously National Park Service Day, National Whiskey Sour Day, and we also celebrate Be Kind to Humankind Week, Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over, International Bat Nights, and I don't mean the baseball bats, there's little black things that fly around, and National Safe at Home Week. Today in history, hard to believe that people back then knew all this stuff, but in 1609, Galileo demonstrated the first telescope. 1768, Captain James Cook departed from Plymouth, England on a 2-year voyage aboard the endeavor bound for the Pacific Ocean. Took him 2.5 years to finish that. In 1829, President Jackson made an offer to buy Texas, but the Mexican government refused. In 1910, Yellow Cab was founded. In 1960, the U.S. Department of Interior formed the National Park Service. And in 1981, Jeff Schwartz set a solo record for trampoline bouncing for 266 hours and 9 minutes. I vaguely remember seeing something about that back when it happened. In 1991, Carl Lewis ran the 100-meter dash in 9.8 seconds. He doesn't hold the record though. Usain Bolt holds that at 9.58 seconds. And it's something that's near and dear to our hearts. In 2020, the WHO announced that Africa had eradicated polio, which is defined as 4 years since the last case. So, anniversaries in our chapter or our club. Charles Curran, 5 years, and Randy Grosjean, 3 years. Couple of wedding anniversaries, Brian Jarvis and his wife Connie, 21 years. And I have Dan Tobias down here, I don't know what it's for. So I hope I can say this word, but the first time I heard about paraprostodokians, I liked them. Paraprostodokians are figures of speech in which the latter part of the sentence or phrase is surprising or unexpected, and hopefully tonight or today is frequently humorous. Where there's a will, I want to be in it. The last thing I want to do is hurt you, but it's still on my list. Since light travels faster than sound, some people fear fright until you hear them speak. If I agree with you, we'd both be wrong. We never really grow up. We only learn how to act in public. Knowledge is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. I didn't say it was your fault. I said I was blaming you. Women will never be equal to men until they can walk down the street with a bald head and a beer gut and still think they're sexy. You don't need a parachute to skydive. You only need a parachute to skydive twice. I used to be indecisive, but now I'm not sure. To be sure of hitting the target, shoot first and call whatever you hit as the target. And I'm supposed to respect my elders, but it's getting harder and harder for me to find them. During a flight, the passengers began to feel the plane shaking and making odd noises. Suddenly, the pilot appeared in the aisle and got everyone's attention. Folks, this is an emergency. The plane is quickly losing fuel and it will run out before we can reach a safe place to land. The attendants and I will hand out parachutes to everyone. And please, before jumping, please begin jumping as soon as your parachute is secured. Women and children, families first, then single men, last the co-pilot, then me. A young man stood up and said, "Sir, I'm an Eagle Scout. It would be my honor to assist." The pilot agreed and parachutes were given out to passengers who exited the plane. When just a few people left, the pilot said, "I had forgotten that there was an extra attendant on the plane. We are one parachute short." One man yelled out, "Well, I'm jumping. I'm a lawyer. And I'm too important to this country. Now give me a parachute." The scout handed the man a pack and he quickly swung it on his back and exited the plane. The pilot looked at the remaining passengers and said, "I will stay aboard and go down with the aircraft." The scout said, "Sir, there are still parachutes for all of us." The pilot replied, but how can that be? We had an extra passenger on board. The scout winked at the pilot, said, I gave the lawyer my backpack. Sorry, David. That was good fun. I was gonna take that one out. I live in a semi-rural area. We recently had a neighbor call the local city council officer, requested removal of a deer crossing sign on their road. The reason, too many deers are being hit by cars out here. I don't think that's a good place for them to be crossing. And my daughter went to a Mexican fast food restaurant in order to taco. She asked the person behind the counter for minimal sauce or minimal lettuce. He said he was sorry, they only had iceberg lettuce. Was at the airport checking in the gate when an airport employee asked, has anyone put anything into your baggage without your knowledge? To which I replied, if it was without my knowledge, how would I know? He smiled knowingly and nodded, that's why we asked. The pedestrian light on the corner beeps when it's safe to cross the street. I was crossing with an intellectually challenged coworker of mine, and she asked if I knew what the beeper was for. I explained it signals blind people when the light is red. Appalled, she responded, why on earth are they allowing blind people to drive? She's a government employee. School teacher's son who brought his report card home. The father said, let's see what you've accomplished. He opened the report and to his dismay, saw all bad grades. What do you have to say about this, Johnny? Well, Dad, at least you know I'm not cheating. A man returns home a day early from a business trip. It's after midnight. While en route home, he asks the cabbie if he would be a witness because the man suspects his wife of having an affair. And he wants to catch her in the act. For $100, the cabbie agrees. Quietly arriving home, the husband and cabbie tiptoe into the bedroom. The husband switches on the light, yanks his blanket back, and sure enough, there she is with another man. The husband puts a gun to the man's head, and the wife shouts, don't do it. I lied to you when I told you I inherited money. He paid for the Porsche I gave you. He paid for the 25-foot Ranger fishing boat. He paid for your football season tickets. He paid for our house at the lake. She goes on and on and on. Shaking his head from side to side, the husband lowered the gun and looked over at the cabbie. What would you do? The cabbie replied, I'd cover him with a blanket before he catches cold. And as always, I like to leave you with a couple of quotes. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone feels loved and believes in the good God and the goodness of people. And the past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. The past is a place of learning, not a place of living. Today's fines. If you've ever been to a national park, that's $1. If you've ever had a banana split, that's $1. If you've ridden in a yellow cab, that's $1. If you've jumped on a trampoline for any amount of time, that's $1. If you had to eat ramen noodles, never mind, you don't have $1. If you're not wearing your Rotary pin, that's $1. Stay cool today. If anybody can get a glass or a jar with, put some cold air in it, give it to Beth, because your air conditioning went out last night, so it's pretty hot over there. So, and now back to David. Happy books.
Would say thank you, but those lawyer jokes. And this is an honors test because if we don't raise a ton of money from all those fines, people are not paying what they're fine. You hit everybody on that. Okay, who's got a happy button?
Dragons game, really good seats for anybody that wants.
Okay, first come, first serve, 2 tickets to the Dragon. Really good seats. Other happy bucks. Alex,
I have two happy bucks. They're happy, sad that we're being represented pretty well in the Beavercreek community. Lieutenant Father Pill and his cadaver dog Sonny deployed to Hawaii and doing hard work. They may be there for quite some time.
other happy bucks. Do we have any announcements? Yes, sir, Jim.
We have 3 slots to be filled yet to man our booth at the Popcorn Festival. We have 2 slots on Saturday from 4 to 6. And 1 slot on Sunday from 1 to 3. So I'll pass this around and hopefully we can cover this.
Okay. So I have an announcement. I'd like to have you really pay attention to our upcoming programs. As everybody here knows, we have great programs, but consider inviting someone that might be a prospective member. Next week, we have Karen Puterbaugh from the Council on Aging. So those of you, I know we don't have anybody who would be in that category, that senior citizen category, but if you know somebody that might be, lives in Greene County, is a great organization, and you'll learn some of the things they do that really benefit the community and that you may be able to take advantage of. I'm sorry, your guests may be able to take advantage of. Okay. So I'm gonna introduce the speaker. We got this program from Curiosity. I'm sorry. Yeah, our ticket drawing. Thank you. 943-932. 943-932. Half of the proceeds go to our Christmas basket project.
Is it my ticket, Terry?
943-932.
Right. I was gonna say, it's right after.
All right. Last week, somebody proved a joke, right?
Yeah, the golden hand. The golden hand.
Queen of Hearts.
Joker.
Joker. $5 of concrete money going into the pot. All right. Diane's allowance cover that? All right. All right. So, pot grows. Okay, so really excited about our program today. I was telling Dr. Khanna that I pass by the Hindu temple on the way to Rotary every week, and I'm curious, but I don't know much about them. And so I talked to Pete Bales and I made contact with the temple to see if we could get them to speak and tell us about their community. So Dr. Khanna is a retired oncologist, hematologist. He studied his initial medicine in India, then a residency in internal medicine at Toledo, and then went to the Ohio State University Hospital for a fellowship in oncology and it's just oncology and both and hematology. Gotcha. And practiced in Springfield until relatively recently when he retired. And he says his position on the board of the Hindu Temple of Dayton is a part-time job. I'm guessing not for long, but I invite Dr. Khanna to come up.
Thank you for inviting us, David. Appreciate that. And the first thing I'm going to say is greet you all with Namaste. How many people know this greeting? Do you know what that means?
No. It was commonly used also in Japan.
Sure. Yeah. Namaste is basically, I salute, I bow to you because the Hindus feel divine is everywhere. Divinity is within you, divinity is within me. So I am greeting the divinity within you. So if you understand this greeting, you know Hinduism. So divine is everywhere. We'll explain that. First, we'll show the video and then of the temple. And I'm sure that will raise some questions in your minds and curiosity. And then Jalpa Ben Patel, I have two guests with me. Jalpa Ben Patel is a co-board member with me, a lot of interest in Hindu philosophy. And Dr. Vemana, he's a retired internist from Springfield. I live in Springfield also, and he is here also to help answer any questions in case you have. So I'll go ahead and ask to go ahead and start the video.
I hope it doesn't glare.
It's a 14 minutes video, that's 14 minutes. We could even pause it if you have any specific question you want to ask right in the middle of the video.
Yeah, namaste and hello. My name is Anand Sharma, and today I'm going to be going over this beautiful and magnificent temple behind me, also known as the Hindu Temple of Devi, as well as go over these spiritual beliefs of our culture and history. Though I am 21 years old, I can assure you that I have a pretty good knowledge about Hindus. And that's all thanks to my father, Pandit Ashwini Kumarji, who actually is the priest at this temple. Now, before I continue, I would like to take this time to thank the HCO, as well as the other priests here at the temple, Pandit Ramesh Shastri, for providing me with this opportunity to share my knowledge with the public. The temple was established in the early 80s as a permanent venue for Hindus and Jains. It encouraged congregations for worship, which allowed people to learn more about the concept of religion and culture. As a matter of fact, the temple aims to promote positive interactions, harmony, and spiritual growth within our community. For those who are watching, let us slowly hold our hands together and repeat the word Om slowly together while closing our eyes. Every time you say Om, I want you to envision something that makes you happy, something that makes you feel like you. Each time you say Om, feel more connected to Brahma, also known as our Creator. Let us begin. The highest sacred symbol in Hinduism. It is a universal vibration and sound chanted before yoga and meditation practice. It is a manifestation of consciousness. Om represents the consciousness and dignity from within, which is present in our three states of existence: the awakening stage, the dreamer stage, and deep sleep. When we say Om, we feel peace in our heart, mind, body, speech, and cosmos. Om represents our creator. Sat Chit Anand. Sat is truth, Chit is conscious, and Anand is joy. So when we say Om, we speak the truth. And when we speak the truth, we feel more conscious and more aware. And when we feel conscious, that is when we experience true happiness. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is when you feel most connected to Brahma. You want to take a look inside? Come on. Wow. Isn't the temple beautiful? Please, take a look for yourself. Hinduism, known as Sanatana Dharma, or Eternal Way, is our planet's original and oldest living religion. It's the third largest religion in the world. But did you know that Hinduism never had a single human founder? It's simply a religion that helps a devotee search for truth from within. Many sages of India during meditation experienced divinity within themselves. And they were able to pass on this knowledge through oral tradition approximately 5,000 years ago as holy scriptures called Vedas. Now, you're probably wondering what that bell above me is all about, right? Well, when we walk into a temple, we typically ring the bell to emit a very beautiful ringing sound that echoes throughout the room. It alerts our consciousness that we have entered a very holy place. It brings the left and right parts of our brain into unity. It touches the 7 chakras within our body, the energy centers within us, in which matter and consciousness meet. That is emphasized in yoga meditation. Oh, that reminds me. For example, as you can see, as we fold our hands and say Namaste, we are bowing down to our creator, which is also known as Shashtanga. This means surrendering my ego in front of the deity and in respect for elders. Now, a Hindu lives his or her life according to 4 Purushas. Purushas, the pursuits and goals of human life. Dharma, duties that includes righteous and ethical conduct. Artha, earning wealth, name, and fame, which falls into accordance with Dharma. Dhamma, fulfilling desires, also falling in harmony with Dharma. Moksha, complete liberation, and this is the ultimate goal, to reach the pinnacle of consciousness where living being and Brahma are one. Now at this moment, the 2 priests conducting a puja or religious chanting, offering their sincere prayer to Brahma himself. We are also praying that Brahma will grant us the power to serve humanity the rest of our lives. Including these rituals, there are many other reasons why people go to the Hindu temple. Individualized prayers, group chanting and prayers, special pujas on special occasions and festivals, and sometimes sit in silence to pray and meditate, which allows them to dwell within their inner worlds of consciousness. Now, most people have a very linear approach when it comes to time. Hinduism believes that the concept of time is cyclic. It's a continuous circle in which life begins to end and ends to begin. Time is a manifestation of Brahma. He's beyond time and space. He's omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. All-knowing, all-powerful, and all-present. Now, since Hinduism believes that time is cyclical, this explains why we believe in reincarnation. It's the idea that people go through the cycle of life through multiple lifetimes. That is why it's important to live a happy and cheerful life, because that determines your wheel of destiny. Your wheel determines what kind of life you have in your next rebirth. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, how long do you keep reincarnating? Well, as previously mentioned, our ultimate goal is to attain moksha, or salvation. This is when self-realization occurs, where one has lived a life that finds unity with our Creator, who can finally find freedom from the cycle of rebirth. Now, another question you could be asking is, how can I attain self-realization? Simple. Ask yourself the question, who am I? Hindu Dharma teaches various methods to reach the ultimate goal of moksha. Being a good human, which includes having qualities like compassion, friendliness, truthfulness, and absence of anger, greed, attachments, and pride. Having the constant desire of being one with Brahma. Having unpretentious, selfless service. Our beliefs determine our thoughts and attitudes about life, which in turn direct our actions. And our actions must serve the purpose for the good of humanity. This is otherwise known as Karma Yoga. or selfless service, and having a passion for knowing the truth. To understand Hinduism, one must understand two important philosophical points of view. The first one, the philosophy of universal truth. This truth of total inclusion of everything in the cosmos, including me standing on this earth. To understand this truth, one has to be willing to look within themselves and connect the dots externally. By doing so, very few people can stretch their mind to understand this divine abstract, which does not require rituals or deity. This philosophy of insight and experience uses the guidelines of the ancient texts called the Vedas and the Upanishads, which was compiled by the greatest philosophers the world had ever seen several thousands of years ago. The second point of view is the philosophy of manifestation. In this context, people see divinity in the form of a specific deity with certain attributes. As a result, several forms of deities and rituals have become an integral part of Hindu way of living. This beautiful temple in Dayton provides a platform for such an experience of divinity within us. Here we have Lord Ganesha, the remover of obstacles. He helps one reach their aspirations in a timely, self-assuring manner. And if anything gets in the way, Lord Ganesha will make sure to hold your hand and jump over the hurdle with you. Because no one deserves to go through a challenge alone. Follow me. Here we have Lord Ramaji, form of time. He is an incarnation of God in human form, who provided knowledge about time. His life is still even relevant to us today. Lord Krishna symbolizes compassion, love, and tenderness. Besides him is Sri Radha. Their unity represents their ideal relationship that every human desires in his or her life. Lord Krishna is known to make people smile with his melodious flute. He was an incarnation of God in human form who reestablished dharma in a weakening society and resolved the conflicts of Arjuna, which has been transcribed in the Bhagavad Gita. This is still relevant to us even today. And here we have the Holy Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Brahma, the creator with his consort Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. You cannot create anything without him. Vishnu, the preserver with his consort Lakshmi, the goddess of will. You cannot preserve anything without the help of finance. And Mahesh, god of dissolution, with his consort Parvati, the goddess of power. You cannot have a fresh start without having the power to destroy evil. Let us all just take a moment to reflect and think about all the things that we are free. All the things that the Supreme Almighty has given us. Everything that has occurred in our life has somehow shaped us to who we are today. And we need to be grateful for that. Let us all take a moment to offer our sincere prayers to Brahma and just say thank you. Join me. Thank you. Well, there you have it. Hinduism is a beautiful religion with many values. The Hindu temple then provides an insight into the Indian culture, which could be a great way to find spiritual.
Hope you got some curiosity what's all you saw. I'm sure Now Jalpa Ben Patel, she will summarize what you saw in a 2-3 slides, and then we'll open up for questions.
Right, my name is Jalpa. The name is Jalpa. He just calls me Jalpa man. It's like adding a little respect behind it that is part of the culture. Yes, what we saw in the video, I'm sure you must have thought about it, that Anand was describing as one, and the previous slide also had the same thing, what Dr. Khanna has put it in, the very first slide. This one, that this is our philosophy. Hinduism says, the Hindu philosophy says that God, the creator and the creation is one. And then we saw a lot of deities in the temple. So that is one thing you may have a little curiosity that what does it mean that there is a one creator and the whole creation is one? Then why there are many deities? So this is how we look at it. As a Hindu, this is how we look at it. As Hinduism, anything in this creation, let's say with the Big Bang Theory, when the creation happened, there was something before it got created. Something was there. From there, this big explosion happened, and all the planets and planetaries and all the stars and moon and sun and everything came out. So that something, how did it exist before? That very something which we cannot describe by any words or anything, worldly thing that we have right now in this world, that very thing is God. And from that something which we call God, we all have that some feeling that we are all connected somehow. Wherever it came from, so the cause, that is the cause for us today, and the cause is always connected with the effect. Like, for example, the lemon tree would not grow without the lemon seed. I cannot grow the avocado seed, cannot grow the lemon tree. So for lemon tree is the effect, and it has the same nature what the seed would have in an unmanifest form. It is a tiny seed. You don't see the tree in there, but it has the same nature in the tree. And that is how the tree gives you the same lemon later on. So similarly, this whole creation is our cause, as a cause, and that cause is what Anand described in the video as a Brahman. And we call it a God, we call it a Brahman, and we also call it a Bhagavan. Sometimes Bhagavan means the one who has its qualities in different aspects. And so we have a cause here, and then this whole creation, including me, everyone, all the trees and mountains and rivers and everything is created from that one cause. So in that sense, we are all one. Just like the one seed will give you a lot of lemons, and there are some good lemons and some are bad lemons. And all those things are coming out from one seed. Similarly, this whole creation, one thing is coming out from this one cause that we call the God. And in that way, we are all connected. Now, why do we have a different deities? So let's say I am one whole, as you can see, I am one whole, and I still have many aspects. I may be happy sometimes, I may be sad sometimes. Those who have known me happy would say, oh, she's always happy. Some have seen me sad, would say, oh, she's always sad. Some may have seen me strong, some may have seen my weaknesses, all different things. So what Anand described in different deities, when he was standing in front of Ganesha, he said that we worship Ganesha for protection or remove our obstacles. We worship Lord Rama for protection, for dharma. We worship Lord Krishna for getting to get that level of love and compassion within us. So we have a different deities in the temple, but again, just like I have a different aspects, this one Brahman, which is the ultimate cause of all of us, has a different aspects. It doesn't matter what I worship, as long as I see that aspect in that form, That's what it makes me worship. For example, I will give you another example. My daughter, when she left for college, I would go to her room and cherish her little llama, stuffed llama that she had in her room. I would cherish that. Similarly, she used to read Othello. She loved reading Othello somehow. And my husband would sit and read that book sometimes, just thinking about her. So we symbolize by cherishing that llama or by reading that book, we symbolize her presence, even though she was in college. But we would see it as if she is there in that form, in the form of Lama, she's in front of me. Similarly, all these deities, it doesn't have to be in one particular form. Hinduism has a complete freedom. There is no one thing that we have to follow. So we've been given, I don't know how many of you have heard about it, but we have 84 million different forms that we can worship Brahman into the God. It doesn't have to be in one form. So we can worship even in a rock. You saw one big rock, that is our Lord Shiva. So we can worship in a rock, we can worship in a snake, we can worship in a cow, we can worship in a man, we can worship in an elephant, we can worship in all different forms. Why? Because it's a freedom. Whichever aspect of that Brahman that I feel connected, that's the form. I would worship and I call that is my presiding deity. I would call that one makes me connect with that ultimate cause of this creation. And another thing, one other example, if I give you to make that make sense a little, that we all have utmost respect for the flag. We would never disrespect the flag. Why? Because we think the flag is America. We would never disrespect the flag. Similarly, we have a respect, and that it's a kind of a bonding, just like we see the flag, and you have that feeling that the patriotic feeling comes into you. Similarly, when we see any of these deities, that same feeling comes into us, that we are connected. So that is our connection. And one more thing I wanted to talk about here is, I forgot to even move the slides. Well, that's fine. Yeah, it's okay, I got it. If I go back here, this is where the Dr. Khanna was talking about, that even Anand talked about in the video also, that Brahman, we call it Sat, Chit, Ananda. And like I explained before, that the cause was there before the creation. And that cause is ever existing because nobody put it there. If we say it came out from a black hole, then who put the black hole there? Something has to be there to begin with. And that something that was there in the beginning, that something is God. And that is what connects all of us in one form or the other, because we are all, like I said, we are all different lemons coming out from the same lemon tree. So yeah, and so there are three things: Sat, Chit, and Ananda right here. So the Sat means the existence, the ever-existing cause, and when we think about this whole universe, everything in it, when you put it together, it's like a one throbbing whole, constantly in motion, and still it is one whole. And that consciousness is Brahman. How do we get that from the cause, the creator? That's where the motion that comes into the universe, everything acts accordingly. Moon circles the earth circles the sun, and all the planets, they all behave. The trees will shed their leaves in the winter, and the spring they'll come again. The rain will come when it gets hot, and all those things, everything happens just the way it's supposed to be happening. It's like everything is an autopilot. All these years, it has never changed. Things would change in the sense that maybe it would get more hot or more cold someday, all that, but it doesn't change its nature. It keeps its nature. And how far can we think of this creation? Mankind is still looking for more galaxies, like the Walt Disney would say, Star Trek, the far, far away in the galaxy. We're still looking for more to discover. How far can we go? It's limitless. And that is what is the nature of Brahman. The nature of Brahman is Sat Chit Ananda, the pure existence, for pure consciousness and the limitless. And that why it is a bliss? Because whatever is limitless, it has to be bliss. It has to be joyful. If it is not joyful, let's say whenever we are sad, we would feel constrained. But when I'm happy, I want to reach out. So that is the main thing why we describe it as a bliss, because it is by nature. Just like that lemon seed has the same lemon, I have the same nature that the Brahman has, the God has, the cause has. I have the same nature, the innate nature, and that is how we all have the same innate nature of to exist, to be conscious of things, and to be happy. Yes, sometimes we are unhappy, but the minute we see something, for example, I see the remote, and right away my mind goes into it, and I forget everything else. I look at the flowers outside, and I connect with the flowers there, and I forget even some sad thing happened before, but I will forget that. So we have an innate nature to be happy, to stay happy, because we are happiness. And that is what is the original nature of the cause that is our, and we are all the effect, and that is our reason why we are all here. So in that way, we are all connected. So the final thing I will say, this is what is our main belief. I'll leave that for you to read.
Thank you. Okay. So, any questions?
Are there, is the practice and the basic tenets universal across different temples, or do you see differences, in the different congregations?
No, it's the same.
When you see outwardly, you will see a lot of differences, just like she explained that we look different. Somebody's white, somebody's black, somebody's brown, somebody's tall, somebody's short. You know, she gave an example of lemon tree. No, that's fine. So then, so for that reason, same way, when you go to temples, different temples, you will see some differences. But that's the nature of Hinduism. We accept everything because everything in creation is divine. So it can be worshipped in many different ways. And that's why we have universal acceptance, and I call it spiritual democracy. She explained that we have our own designated deity. We call it Ishta Devata. So we can, worship nature in any form and shape.
Yeah.
It sounds, from what I've heard, that since you can see your God in anything, it transcends into nature
Yes.
tremendously. So I wonder, is there like an official stance in the religion on protecting the environment or conservation work, since that seems to be such an important part of the religion?
So in Vedas, one of the holy scriptures, it has been said, what you mentioned, many things are said, and in there that protect the nature, protect the animals, do not do any cruelty to animals, and many other things, like even respect your parents, respect your teacher, respect the guests coming to your home. So all these things are given, yes, but they are not really a commandments, but it's more like something. Once, like I said, if I want to reach out to that Lama in my daughter's room just to connect with her, similarly, I want to go ahead and follow those those statements given in the Vedas, so that I feel connected. But there is no commandments that you have to do this in order to be called Hindu.
To expand on your question, our very basic greetings are also like a COVID friendly. When COVID happened, we don't shake hands with people. You say namaste. You have, it's also like environmental friendly, and so you kind of, so everything what she explained everything that is from the scripture is
Everything is divine. Yes. Yes.
go ahead.
Just a quick question. You said, again, you're talking about pure consciousness. I'm curious how that aligns with like transcendental meditation and like astral projection or things along those lines.
Yeah, so in the meditation is one way to get connected, to feel that I'm conscious, right? Because what happens in the day-to-day, our activities, I am running around doing things and not even paying attention to my own breathing. Naturally, breathing happens, but I'm not paying attention to my breathing, or I don't even have that. Sorry. I came after him, it's his fault. So, yeah, so we just, we keep doing things. So that's why in Hinduism, meditation is prescribed, that we sit and focus on ourselves. And how do I do that? I start with paying attention to my body first, and then I pay attention to my breathing, and then to my mind. So slowly, I go more inward, from the physical body to my breathing and to my mind. And then naturally, when I am focusing on my own mind, I can see my thoughts coming and going. Basically, that tells me that I'm conscious of my thoughts. Whatever thought comes, good, bad, whatever comes, I know when to stop which thought, and I can govern my own thoughts. That's me. Learn to do that. So I am conscious of my thoughts. So that is the very fundamental beginning of learning to see that you are conscious. And then slowly, like he said, many rishis and many, even Ninana described that how we get that, all these things. So all the saints and the visionaries who saw this creation, how it happened from the beginning to now, they saw it this way, that it is a one consciousness. And I can explain that we are all conscious. We don't know it because we are so in tune with this daily routine of running around that we don't realize. But when we think about it, yes, we have the conscious moments that I understand it that way. And that consciousness is one whole consciousness. Why? Because just like one lemon seed gives all the lemons, so similarly, from one creator, which is Brahman, from where the whole creation happened, and that is the pure consciousness, because we are all conscious. Effect will only have what the cause had, and we are all conscious.
This diagram describes us very well. So if God is this symbol Om here, what we live in is this BMI, the body, mind, and intellect. We live at that level, that realm of our consciousness. And through the body, we perceive objects. So we have all these sensory things, eating ice cream, eating food, or seeing a television, or hearing nice music. So that's kind of there. Mind feels emotions, intellect thinks thoughts. So we are always at this level. We don't even think about God all the time. But if we sit in meditation, like the question you asked, that is what we want to achieve. Actually, we do that every day. When we sleep at night, our body is dead. When the body is sleeping, the body functions are gone. We are in a dream state. Our mind is still functioning because it's creating or projecting another world for us. We are seeing ourselves in, all kind of different areas. So mind is still working. But when we are in deep sleep, even the mind is dead. So, but still when we wake up, we say, I had a wonderful sleep. Who was watching that? That is the real consciousness, awareness. And if we can achieve that just by sitting in meditation, that is the ultimate goal that we want to achieve through meditation. I'm sorry, you had a question.
So we're a service organization, and I know that your group does service in the community. Can you tell us some of the things you do in Beavercreek? And
Yes. So the last 2 years, we have started doing yoga and meditation free every Sunday from 8:30 to 10 o'clock. first 45 minutes yoga, and then meditation is the last 45 minutes. So that's a free service. Anybody can join. It's online. So if you are interested, I can send you the links for that. We are, but also I did mention earlier, they forget to say it, now I remember. You know, any of you as a group or individually, if you want to come and visit the temple, you know, ask more questions, you are most welcome. Just give me a call and we'll arrange that tour for the temple also. Yes, we have done lots of the projects over the last few years. The police department is our first line protection. So we have a festival called Raksha Bandhan, which is coming up actually on the 30th. And last year we invited police force from various areas and, you know, and Beavercreek also. Yeah, I don't know if any of you had a chance to visit at that time, but so we do that. We in the Hinduism, like, you know, we see God and everything. God is Guru. Guru is the teacher. So we did a Guru Vandana. We respect the teachers very much. And so we invited a lot of teachers from different schools and did that. So things like that. So we have to do that. Yes, sir.
So is that the event that you have up at the temple that you just mentioned?
Yes.
Yeah, because I've been there several times as your guest.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of fun. You have, we can taste your food.
Mhm.
And they have all kinds of, people making crafts and whatnot, right?
Yeah,
And the public's, welcome, right?
yes.
Yes, public is welcome. Everybody or anybody is welcome anytime to come and visit the temple. And if you come on the festival celebration time, then you can get to taste the food and
Very nice.
you know, yeah, free music and all kind of things, dances. We have cultural, classical Indian dances, a lot of things happen.
So so it's a meditation center, of yours affiliated with you?
Well, they're not directly, but they're indirectly, we are, you know, connected because that's part of Hindu philosophy also. And they are doing, you know, this service. So a lot of yoga teachers we have who are doing free yoga teachings. We have a lot of meditation teachers who are teaching meditation one-to-one or as a group also.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Also, thank them for making a donation to Rotary, and we will put that money to good work, good use. As is our custom, we're donating a book to the Greene County Community Library, the Beavercreek branch, but doesn't really matter what branch it goes to, does it? Who Was Gandhi is the book that was chosen today. Not a coincidence, apparently. Okay. So our next meeting, as I mentioned, is September 1st. Karen Putergoff of the Greene County Council on Aging will be speaking. Really, please think about bringing guests or a prospective member. Keep an eye on upcoming programs, beavercreekrotary.com and Facebook. Is there anything else for the good of the club? Or any other announcements? Okay, if you'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll ask our guests to lead us, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gentlemen, have a nice week. All right.
Smaller than this. They're gonna have to have like a loop. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.